So, I'm making this video to talk about a list of the favorite quotes that I have right in front of me. They're actually just been on my laptop screen underneath the light bar that's illuminating my face right now. So, the reason why I wanted to talk about these quotes is because they actually really inspire me and stand out as very inspirational pieces of, prose that I picked out from my various favorite, pieces of media, books, TV, film, literature, whatnot, video games especially. And so we'll just get right into it. So to my very left, I actually have a quote for myself. Self-insert, I know. So it goes, you cannot expect to stay consistent at something if you have shallow reasons as to why you are doing it. So it's very straightforward, right? You can't expect to stick to something long term if the reasons you have for doing it are shallow, fleeting, not deep enough. They can't keep you grounded, right? If they're not reasons that are solid roots and foundations, okay? If you're doing something for the validation of others, and let's just say you do something, you get a like from someone when you post about it. And the next day you do it again, and then nobody likes it because, of course, it's nothing new or anything like that, or it doesn't impress the crowd anymore. And then you give up. You aren't consistent at it because you didn't have a deep enough reason, such as doing it for yourself or doing it to accomplish a certain goal, or maybe make someone who is, make someone proud who is actually very dear to you, right? Now, next up we have whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. That's Colossians 3:23, the New International Version. So it's actually my favorite Bible verse or scripture because it basically talks about more or less the same reason as my own personal philosophy, more or less the same idea. Because if you're doing something for a deep reason, if you're a Christian, right? If you're watching this, and if you're a Christian, if you're doing this for a deep reason, if you're doing this for the Lord, right? That's a deep reason. You're gonna stay rooted and grounded. You're gonna stay focused on completing that task, accomplishing that goal, because you have a deep reason as to why you want to do it. You don't want to disappoint yourself and the person or the reason that you're doing it for, right? So moving on. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Pavel Durov, CEO of Telegram. So I'm actually quite a big fan of Pavel Durov and his sort of monk-ish ascetic lifestyle, because he's cut out a lot of things in pursuit of a more healthier, grounded, peaceful lifestyle. He is a minimalist. He doesn't keep a smartphone except to check on the Telegram app to test out the features, as he said. And this quote really sticks out to me because it does kind of tie in with the previous two quotes that I have mentioned. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. So you can't really expect to accomplish something exceptional or have a really high level of an output in your work if you don't truly have a passion or a conviction to do it, right? Moving on. Trying to get this impression right. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Insanity is doing the exact same effing thing over and over again and expecting to change. Vas Montenegro, Far Cry 3. So, a very, very, very great and standout quote. One of my favorite video game villains of all time. Also, one of my favorite actors, Michael Mando, who's going to be playing Scorpion in the up-and-coming Spider-Man film, Brand New Day. So, this is sort of like a, his own twist on this quote that's been famously attributed to Albert Einstein. Insanity is doing the exact same thing repeatedly and expecting different results. So the reason why this quote sticks out to me and why I gravitate towards it is because it has to do with habits and your identity, right? If you're doing the same thing over and over again, you can't expect the results that you want, right? Of course, then again, it also kind of ties into, but anyway, you have to be serious about the kind of person you want to be, and that all ultimately comes down to your habits. The decisions you make every day routinely, what you choose to do every day, the life you live on autopilot, that's literally it. So if you want to have a different outcome or a different lifestyle, if you want to have a different life, you have to do something differently that you're doing right now, right? And it can't just be once, it has to be continuously. Moving on. These days, even a sheep must wear a wolf skin just to grace Ashalad, Vinland Saga. So, I watched Vinland Saga like 2 years ago. I'm still waiting for season 3 to come out. I'm not gonna bother reading the manga. So, the reason why this quote sticks out to me is because it basically just means that you have to have, you know, tough skin, or you have to be tough. You have to be, you have to sort of have a dangerous exterior to be able to, you know, at least survive in the world, right? So it kind of teaches, of course, this is a quote from like the Viking times, so it's a completely different day and age from us right now, but it shows that you have to be able to rely on yourself, right? To be able to survive, you know, to live, you know, or to just go about your day. You have to always kind of be able to protect yourself and count on yourself. Moving on. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. The Assassin's Creed. So again, Assassin's Creed is also one of my favorite video game franchises, and this is the Assassin's Creed. This is their motto. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. I think I think this speaks to more about freedom. So if we say that nothing is true, you know, I don't exactly know what the real connotation or meaning behind the creed is, but from my interpretation, if nothing is true, it sort of gives you the freedom to choose what you actually want to believe. If we say everything is false, we can then kind of decide that, okay, if everything is false, then we don't have to take everything as super serious and super, you know, like doctrines, right? Or have them forced down our throats. And everything is permitted. Again, this is ultimately to do with freedom. So if everything is permitted, you're free to do whatever you want, believe whatever you want, choose to align with whatever you want, and so on, right? So it's, now that I realize, actually it really does speak to freedom and having an open mind and choosing your own path and what you value in your morals. So instead of choosing to align with or believe whatever is, you know, in front of your face and thrown at you or forced by the people around you, you can take, you know, the agency into your own hands and choose to believe whatever you want to believe, who you want to become, what you want to do in life. Moving on. And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music. Friedrich Nietzsche. Also a very, very powerful quote. I don't know exactly which piece of work this originates from, but to me it basically speaks about how the people who are outside your sort of sphere of influence, or your, you know, maybe who you choose to align with, don't know the sort of power, the allure in the activities that you do, or who you choose to associate with, or what you're doing, right? So those who are thought seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music, right? So say if you're enjoying your life, maybe let's stick to the little example, right? You're partying, you're dancing, you're having fun. Those who can't actually share that experience with you, or who can't actually experience it for whatever reason, be it that it's exclusive, or be it that they just don't have the ability or means of experiencing it themselves, won't understand, you know, the allure, won't understand why you're, you know, dancing, why you're happy, right? So that's my take on it. And last but not least, it is only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Tyler Durden, lead it out. So if you know, you know. Basically, I watched this film like 3 years ago, back when I was first year uni student, and I really, really enjoyed it. Because I've seen a lot of the TikTok videos about it, and this was sort of back during the peak of the, you know, sort of alpha male trend and everything like that, sigma male trend and whatnot. It really does again speak to freedom, which is something that I quite appreciate, that I quite value. Freedom in thinking, speech, again, who you choose to align with, the life you want to live. So it's sort of kind of like a ascetic or monk belief that when you possess too many things, you know, material possessions, they weigh you down and you remain tied to them. You know, you're stuck to these worldly possessions, these worldly commitments of yours, like your phone, television, your house, your career, all these things. But once you lose them, you're free to do whatever you want, because you're no longer weighed down by them, no longer committed to them, right? So I suppose it's really just kind of speaks to minimalism as a philosophy as well, owning less, right? Only keeping the things that actually are important to you or that actually make a difference in your life and bring you closer to your goals or enlightenment. So that's it for the quotes that I have. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's just a random video that I decided to make, so everything that I'm saying right now is kind of off the top of my head on a whim. And I hope you guys, like this video, subscribe, and do leave a comment down below sharing the quotes that you like yourself, or any kind of scriptures or whatnot that you that aligns with your life, that you kind of try to live by. And yeah, also leave a comment on what kind of video you want to see next. And that's all from me. Peace. Messed up.